Welcome to the Haney podcast here on nofilter.net and wherever you get your podcasts, like iHeartRadio. I am here to talk about the Ryder Cup, a little Ryder Cup recap. This podcast is brought to you by HaneyUniversity.com. That's my website. That's where you can go to sign up for my free instructional videos and where you can find out information about golf lessons from me. All right, the Ryder Cup. Not good for the USA. Not good. Very good for Europe. Not good for me because I bet on the USA. Why did I bet on the USA? I bet on the USA because when I analyze golf tournaments, and they're very hard to bet on, but when I analyze golf tournaments, and this isn't really a tournament, it's an exhibition, but when I analyze the exhibition, I thought to myself, okay, the U.S. has a decided advantage in the world golf rankings of the players on the team. Average world golf ranking of a U.S. player was 12.91. Average ranking of the European team was like 10 spots higher, 29.25. So the U.S. theoretically had better players. Now, you can argue about the world golf rankings, and maybe that's not a good system, but you can also factor in the home course advantage and the home crowd and everything. I still felt like the U.S. was a good bet. And in fact, if you look at the singles on Sunday, you got 12 singles matches, and you match up the world golf ranking of each player with the player that they're playing against. Number one, Scotty Scheffler played John Rahm. They played to a tie. Colin Morikawa is ranked 19th in the world golf rankings. He plays Victor Hovland, who's fourth. He's supposed to lose that match. He did. Patrick Cantlay plays Justin Rose. Patrick Cantlay's ranked fifth. Justin Rose is ranked 37th. Patrick Cantlay's supposed to win that match. He does. Rory McIlroy's ranked second in the world. He's playing against Sam Burns, who's ranked 20th. Rory McIlroy's supposed to win that match. He does. Max Homa plays Matthew Fitzpatrick. They're 7th and 8th in the world. It's a toss-up. Homa wins that one. Harman ranked 9th. Terrell Hatton ranked 11th. Kind of a toss-up. Again, Hatton wins that one. Brooks Koepka, I think he's about the 5th best player in the world, maybe better than that. Won the PGA, second at the Masters. He's playing Ludwig Oiberg, a just out of college kid. Koepka's supposed to win that match. He does. Then you got a toss-up, according to World Golf Rankings, Justin Thomas and Sepp Straka. But you have to say that Justin Thomas is a little bit more seasoned than Sepp Straka. Justin Thomas wins it. Xander Schauffele versus Holgard. Schauffele's ranked 6th, Holgard 82nd. Schauffele wins. Now here's where the problem comes in. Jordan Spieth ranked 12th in the world against Shane Lowry, 34th, and they tie. Ricky Fowler against Tommy Fleetwood. Fleetwood's 13th. Ricky Fowler's 25th. Fleetwood wins. And then you've got McIntyre ranked 55th versus Wyndham Clark ranked 10th, and McIntyre wins. If you go by the favorites in those matches, the U.S. shoulda, woulda, coulda. Won 7, lost 4, tied 1. They should win the singles. They should always win the singles for as long as I can remember on the Ryder Cup. But it hasn't been happening, and it hasn't happened especially overseas. You figure that if the U.S. had it close going into Sunday, close meaning 1 point, 2 points, they could pull it out. Well, they wouldn't have. I mean, I thought that one of the things that was great about the Ryder Cup is NBC did a masterful job of holding on to the audience, making the audience. That Ryder Cup was over the first day. Done, finished, over. Okay. But they did a masterful job of holding on to the audience on Sunday, making everybody think the U.S. still could win this thing. And then they still were saying, like, oh, there was a moment there. They were 5 points down going into Sunday, and they lost by 5 points. I mean, yeah, there was some close matches, but you know what?
Okay, I found this on the web for they should win the singles. They should always win the singles for as long as I can remember on the Ryder Cup, but it hasn't been happening, and it hasn't.
Oh man, it was not to be had for the U.S. team. There was no way that they were going to win that match after the start that they had. They just got absolutely drummed at the beginning, and it happened. My logic is this. If you're going to bet on 12 football games, okay, you're going to bet on 12 football games, and I'm going to say you don't even have to give points. You just can you can pick you can pick the favorites if you want. You're supposed to win. That's supposed to be a good bet. It's supposed to be a good bet. If you get to pick a team that is favored to beat another team, it's supposed to be a good bet. Well, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed because they're all good players too, and things happen. I'll tell you what happens. Luck happens. Chip-ins happen. I saw a few chip-ins for Europe. Great shots, but the fact that they go in, sometimes they're going in pretty fast. That putt that Rahm made, where it was that they, arguably said was going 6, 8, 10 feet by the cup, hits the back of the cup, goes in. That's the kind of stuff. I mean, that's a lucky shot. I mean, you could call it whatever you want. Everybody will say great putt. They did the same thing in Medina. When Poulter and Justin Rose made these bombs on 17 at Medina, when they had that miracle comeback there, when you hit a putt, you have to marry the speed and the line. So in order to make a putt that's going the wrong speed, you also have to hit it on the wrong line. That's how you make that putt. That is what you call luck. Now, I'm not saying that luck determined the Ryder Cup, but I am saying that things can happen, and things do happen. The fact of the matter is even though the European players were not as highly ranked statistically as the U.S. players, they clearly outplayed them. I think I saw the statistic where it said they were like 17.5 strokes gained, approach shot to the green, better than the U.S. That's a big margin. I mean, that's a big margin. So they outplayed them, they outputted them, and I think it kind of boiled down to the big guys. I thought, okay, like how when I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, logic would say, the World Golf Rankings would say that the U.S. has the advantage, but you can negate that advantage if you sit certain players, okay, if you don't play certain guys and you play them less, okay, your higher ranked players, you play them less. McIntyre played 3 matches. He didn't play as much. You can do Holgard, 3 matches. You can do that. Those are their 2 highest ranked players. And they didn't play them as much. And then you play your low ranked, your better ranked players. You play them more often. That's how you can overcome. But then the guys have to play good. And this was Rory McIlroy's best Ryder Cup ever. 4-1, best Ryder Cup he's had. And obviously, if you write the formula for Europe winning, and it's just, you know what? It's pretty much going to be the same formula for U.S. U.S. had a little bit more room for error, I think, because of the depth of their lineup. They didn't have to have a 4-1 out of Scottie Scheffler. If they would have had, a 2-1-1 out of Scottie Scheffler, it would have been a heck of a lot better. They didn't have to have a phenomenal run out of their top 3 players. And I had their top 3 players as Koepka, Scheffler, and Cantlay. Scheffler goes 0-2-2. Koepka only plays 3 matches for some ungodly reason. Probably because he's LIV. I don't know. You give me another reason why you don't play. Brooks Koepka does not get the respect. Like, this is something I get you. I get you hate LIV. I understand that. They're all evil. I don't know why they're evil, because they just made everybody a lot more money, but they hate LIV and whatever. We took him because we had to take him because he won the PGA and he was second at the Masters, and the PGA runs the Ryder Cup. We got to take him. We don't want to take him, but we got to take him. But then they play him 3 matches, and I don't get that. But Scotty Scheffler plays 4. Cantlay plays 4. Justin Thomas plays 4 matches. Jordan Spieth plays 4 matches. How does Brooks Koepka only play 3 matches? The guy doesn't get the respect. He just doesn't get the respect. But anyway, he finished 1-1-1. He played 3 matches. Cantlay was the best player on the U.S.'s team. Him and I guess you got to put him and Homa. Homa was 3-1-1. Cantlay was 2-2-0. So Homa was the best player, but second best player was Cantlay. And those 3 guys, Cantlay, Scheffler, and Koepka, played a total of 11 matches. But Rahm, Rory, and Hovland, their big 3, played 14 matches. And there you're banking on your depth. And, which is fine for, the whole depth thing is great. And the rest thing is good. And, you're going to be better in the singles. We want our guys rested. We got depth advantage in singles. But the problem is it was over before the singles started. And that's that was about. No, I don't think the captain could have necessarily changed this whole thing. I got to be honest with you. I listened to all of these people talk about why the U.S. lost, and it's just the reasons are just amazing. I mean, it's like the number one reason everybody comes up with is Europe is more of a team, and I'm like, what does that mean? I just don't. I know I hear this all the time. My friends text me, my students text me. People just make such a big. The media the media loves to talk about it, and I think of it kind of like I do with hitting golf shots. The golf ball does not know you're nervous. The golf ball does not know what kind of team you are, what kind of team player you are, what your team unity is like. I didn't see like the U.S. had this big issue with team unity. I hear people talking about it, but I don't see it. I do see Europe is a close-knit team. I get it. And does that help them raise the level of their play? I'm sure it does. I'll give you that it does. But the U.S. didn't need to raise the level of their play. They just needed to play to the level of their capabilities, and they didn't do it. That's just the fact. When the number 1 player in the world goes 0-2-2, and that's not going to get it. That's not going to get it. When you play all these guys that are, your captain's picks, and you play all the captain's picks, and what did they do? I mean, Ricky 0-2-0, Spieth 0-2-2, JT 1-2-1. I mean, how did it work out there? It didn't work out too good. But I look at it and I say they just didn't play good. They didn't. Luck is a factor. It wasn't their week. It's not going to be a blowout. It's 18 holes of golf. Luck's a factor. The crowd's a factor. This week, They didn't play as good. The U.S. team didn't play as good. And Europe just played great. And like somebody said, you know, like you look at it and they're making a ton of putts. I mean, they're throwing it in from everywhere. And you know what? Last time they played at Whistling Straits, it was a joke. It was an absolute joke. U.S. had a better team. They should have won by some margin, but they boat raced them because they were throwing it in from everywhere. I mean, they were making everything. It's just like everything was going in, and Europe couldn't make a thing. This time, Europe made everything. U.S. couldn't make a thing. And sometimes that's just what happens. That's what happens in golf. You know, I just don't know how better, you know, team chemistry, whatever that they think the problem is here with the U.S. team, better team chemistry. I don't know how that helps you. How does that help you make more putts? How does that help you? I mean, Ricky Fowler didn't hit it in the water on 16 because we have bad team chemistry. I just don't see the logic in all this whole chemistry talk. Now, I can see some logic in the fact that Europe had played that course more than us, and everybody didn't even play, you know, the extra practice rounds there. You know, there's some logic in that, although I don't think we got like out-course managed there. You know, you got 12 guys, great players. I mean, they should be able to figure out how to play a golf course. But the more times you play it, the better it is for you. There's no doubt about that. So that's a little edge. The one thing that probably does make a lot of sense is the fact that the U.S. took 5 weeks off, okay? And they were practicing, I'm sure, and they were working at their games, but it's not the same as playing. A few of the guys played. Justin Thomas played. Max Homa played. You know, they played up at in Napa Valley at the Fortinet tournament, and they got a little something in there. But the European team had 7 other players were in the top 10 at the tournament the week, you know, prior to the or 2 weeks prior to the Ryder Cup. So that's something. I mean, I think that probably has something to do with it. You know, it kind of goes to what I was saying about, you know, when you pick players that are hot, how do you know they're going to be hot? Like for the Ryder Cup, the U.S. team, how do you know the guy's going to be hot when you pick them a month, you know, or 5 weeks before the real Ryder Cup? You don't know. I mean, in golf, you could be hot today and not hot tomorrow. You could have a great week this week and not a great week next week. But the closer you are to the date that you're playing well at, probably the better off it is. I mean, we got to concede that fact. And the U.S., we hadn't played much. We hadn't played. So the guys just collectively did not play good. Europe played fantastic. They made putts. And seemingly they maybe caught a couple more breaks. That was a horrible break for Max Homa in the singles on the 18th hole. He overcame it and won, but I mean, that's just a horrible break. I didn't see any breaks like that were, you know, that was a terrible break. You know, he still won, but that was a bad break. The putt, that's a big change. I mean, that putt Rahm made, you know, going in at the speed it was going in at, that was a big one. You know, that thing's scooting by pretty good. You know, that's a break. Wrong speed, wrong line, goes in. I mean, that's a break. You know, there's a few chip ins there. You know, I mean, there's something fortunate about a chip in. I mean, Spieth had one too, but I saw more than that on Europe's side. And it's not, you know, you could look at it and say, well, they have better short games, but they don't. I mean, statistically, that's not what it says. But, you know, you're not going to hole shots left and right from off the green, and they ended up doing it. But it was, you know, it was a Ryder Cup that when you look at, you know, it wasn't a great watch. I mean, I gotta say that. But I thought NBC did a great job trying to make you think it was coming down to the wire, and they held their audience pretty good by doing that. And you know, some of those matches on Sunday were pretty good. They got a few too many drivable par fours for me. I mean, you know, one of those on a golf course is nice. Three of them, you know, I don't know. I mean, what are we playing? An executive course out here? I don't, you know, but that's part of the deal. See, this is what they, you know, they got all these analytics going now. They got all these analytics going. And what they're figuring out is okay, if we put the fairways at this width, and we put the holes at this length, and we put the rough at this depth, at this depth, at this distance, this is going to give us analytically, this is going to give us a statistical advantage. And, you know, obviously there must be something to it, because the home team sure seems to be winning a lot. And the crowd, I mean, let's face it, the crowd, you know, the crowd means something. And, you know, but you know, it's going to be that way. You know, it's going to be that way. And if the crowd is an issue, you know, then pick players, you know, that are pretty good at handling that kind of situation. You know, Dustin Johnson's pretty good at handling that situation. DeChambeau's pretty good at handling that. You know, Bryson, he's pretty good at handling that situation. Patrick Reed's good at handling that situation. You know, these guys weren't even considered for the team. You know, Keegan Bradley's he's pretty good at handling that situation. You know, he'll get in their face. He's done it before. You know, it's just. You know, if they're going to grow the rough up 2 feet tall, you know, maybe you know, Lucas Glover, a good ball striker, maybe he's pretty good. Man, this foursomes thing we got, where these alternate shot, I mean, you got to figure out how you're going to play alternate shot. I got to, you know, like one of my friends, like, how do they play so bad? You know, I mean, I shot this, I shot that. How you know, I played alternate shot, and I shot alternate shot's a tough format. You got to figure out who's going to play. I can't second guess the pairings because I wasn't there, but I can tell you this much. Okay, if I had the statistics in front of me and I could look at it, and I could look at those statistics. And I could stand on the driving range and the golf course for 3 days, okay? 3 days, 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days. I could stand on that drive range and on the golf course for 4 days. Let me tell you something. Give me those statistics and 4 days on the golf course and the driving range. I could figure out who might ought to play alternate shot, because alternate shot's a tough formula. You got to hit your ball, and you know, it's, you know, Jordan Spieth. Nah, I don't know about that. You know, JT, the way he was playing, you know, I'm not sure about that. You know, Homa, yeah, Koepka, yeah. You know, you got to put Scheffler out there. He's one of the best ball strikers in the world. Hard for me not to put you know, Morikawa out there. He's one of the best ball strikers. They probably, you know, Cantley. I mean, how do you not put that guy out there? You know, but some of the stuff maybe could have been a little different. It's easy to second guess. But my real analysis of the whole thing is they played better. Europe did. They putted better. They had the home course advantage. They had the fan advantage. They maybe got a few more breaks than the U.S. did too. And all that, when you add it up, it equals a drumming. I mean, this was like they could, you know, they could tell us how it was almost close, but that wasn't close at all. I mean, to lose by 5 points, that's not good. I mean, that's a bad beat. That's a bad beat. And now the U.S. has got to, you know, now they go back to Bethpage Black the next time, and then they'll have to wait again to win in Europe. And I'll tell you what, you know, these three guys they got, Rory will still be a good player. He'll be a great player. Rahm, he could be a great player. Hovland, you know, he's going to be a great player. You know, Koepka will be, you know, he'll be good. There's no doubt about it. But you know, he's not going to get younger. You know, Scheffler, you know, maybe he'll figure out his putting. Maybe he will. But the script is flipped a little bit here, and I give, like, just right now as I'm projecting forward, okay, just because of those big three guys and what we got going on here in the U.S., I'm going to say that Europe has a better chance of winning at Bethpage Black. It's an early prediction. Europe has a better chance of winning at Bethpage Black than we do the U.S. next time we go to Europe. That's what I think. But the home team is definitely, there's something to it. There's something to it. This setting up the course and all these statistics. There's definitely something to it, because it's close anyways, and that's the home field, the home course is flipping things, pretty considerably. So you know what? That's good. It makes it good. You know, you like to see the home team. I do. You know, in sports, I like to see the home team win. You know, let the fans have a nice party, have them enjoy it. I just wish it would have been a little closer. You know, that's all I wanted. I bet on the U.S. You know, I took a little bath. It wasn't a major bath. You know, I'm not a big bettor. I took a little haircut. You know, I can afford it. No problem. You know, but you know, next time at home, I got to ride the home team from now on, probably. You know, I mean, but I have to say this. See, I've been around a long time. I'm 68 years. As my father says, I'm on the back nine now. Okay, and the Ryder Cup is much better. I mean, it's a great exhibition. It's much better now that Europe has had such great success. It's much better now than it was back in the day when, and I go back in the day, when U.S. was winning every single one of them. It's much better now. It's just better. And you know what? I like to see the U.S. win. I'm a United States citizen. I cheer for the U.S. I will be losing zero sleep over the fact that Europe won the Ryder Cup. But congratulations to them, because they deserved it. They beat the crap out of that U.S. team. Beat the crap out of them. All right, I'll have more on this the rest of the week, but that's just my first initial reaction. Kind of the big three, you know, that's it. Rahm, Rory, and Hovland. They took it to them. You know, I mean, if you look at it, 9 points for them. Koepka, Scheffler, and Cantley, 3 points for them. That's 6 points right there. They won by 5. It's pretty much it. That and the foursomes, you know, that's pretty much where the analysis goes right there. But it was you know what? It was fun to watch. You know, it could have been more fun. I'd like to see it come down to the last hole. That was a great last hole. I'd love to see it come down to that. Anyway, hope everybody enjoyed the podcast. Hit the follow button on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure you listen to NoFilter.net. Great stuff on NoFilter.net, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Hope everybody has a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon on the Hank Haney Podcast.